the changes kind of go hand in hand with why we're making the change today. That, you know, the stat people will spam me with, and Brannon Platchat already started last week, of saying Kaplan's a great coach. Why would you possibly replace Kaplan? He went to 6 of 7 of the last internationals. Okay. Kaplan went to 6 of 7 internationals with Zekken as his duelist and John as his IGL. So when Kaplan came back from Paris, his solution to how the season ended was to want to replace Zekken as the duelist and to replace John as the IGL. That was not something we agreed with.
One thing people are saying in the chat is, didn't Zekken make the decision to leave at the end of his contract?
So let's just talk about how we got there. Champs was September. When did we get knocked out of Champs?
End of September, October?
Yes, toward the end of September. It was a month later that his contract was ending. We weren't trying to keep him to be our duelist. We never talked to him about it. So when our coach is adamant that these are the changes he wants to make, he had the right contractually, which I'll never give again. He actually had the right to make the final say on roster.
Really? Oh, is that a thing? I'm surprised. That's the thing for coaches? Is that normal?
Well, Tarik, I don't know if it is or was. It will never be for us. So any coach you'd like to interview with us, please know we will never give that again, because that is what happened. John not being the IGL was 100% not coming from us. So everyone's asking the question, which is a great question to ask, which is John returning to be the IGL? Yes. Now, this is no fault of Caillou's, but he's like a rookie. And this is like a crazy high stress job to put him in. So when people say, well, your roster isn't any good, why are you blaming Kaplan? It's like, well, this was Kaplan's roster, not the one we wanted. Since we disagreed with it going in, it's then really hard to say, oh, I bet it's going to work out if we keep going with it. If the players themselves don't think it's going to work, then you're nowhere. Right? Like, this isn't like the players were saying, oh, we're on a roll here. Give us more time. This will work. That was definitely not the consensus of the team.
So it's not only, you know, management stepping in, it's also a combination of the players' thoughts and opinions coming together.
Yes, no question. The players definitely did not believe we were on a path to win a major. Like, the players agreed we needed to make changes. Why are you blaming Kaplan for the roster? It's because we as an organization did not agree with these decisions. We just didn't. Zekken is amazing. He's beloved. The guy has been with us for the last 3 years, and we were not having any conversation with him about staying the duelist. None. That was something we weren't excited about. Yes, we will be doing trials starting Tuesday. You know, there's highly likely to be 2 roster moves.
It's highly likely to be 2 roster moves. So Caillou, and then there's a question mark next to it. Is there any world Zekken returns, or is that ship sailed?
Zekken is on MIBR, so
it's tricky.
If Zekken ever becomes a free agent again in his career, I will be his first call.
What about Zelsis? No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the thing I'll say about Zelsis, right? Because I love Jordan, okay? Our Masters Madrid win, Zelsis was a huge part of that. I will always be loyal to Jordan/Zelsis for his role in us having that major. Jordan's a huge part of that. But somehow after Champs, the only 2 people that Kaplan was convinced he wanted to keep were Narrate and Zelsis. But once Caillou was going to be the IGL, that it just felt like we had to have John's firepower and to keep John. And so that's when they're just, we had to make a decision between John and Jordan. The good news for Zelsis was that there was a spot open for him at Cloud9. And as you've seen, like how John has played, John was the top rated player in the tournament. You know, John still has the mechanical gift he always had. His calling and his leadership were a huge part of our success over the last 2 years. Like I said, I think for Caillou, I think he's got a lot of potential. Like I said, a year from now, 2 years from now, I think he could be leading a team to a major. But I'm not sure why Kaplan forced that change right now from John, when that is not what John wanted. I think the one other misconception is John wanted to step down from IGL, and that was definitely not the case.
Rob, I'm not going to lie, since we spoke about it so much, I feel like there's no world where Kaplan doesn't or come out with his side of the story. So I feel like I wonder what it's going to be painted as from his POV.
No, by the way, I'm sure he will have his point of view. And I'm saying there's 2 issues that are pretty specific. Kaplan decided to not keep John as his IGL, and Kaplan no longer wanted Zekken to be his duelist. Everything else, yes, you can have a conversation about, of POV, what went right, what went wrong, whose fault it was. But to me, those were the two critical building blocks of this roster that we disagreed with.
That's a good question,
and
Bang.
we were kind of stuck on that place. With zekken, yes, a month later, when we weren't pursuing him, he then ultimately signed with MIBR. And then the door was open for MIBR to make him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, if you guys were not pursuing him, you guys were not including him in trials, then he's going to obviously try to look for his next option. And then, yeah, it is what it is at that point.
Kaplan made a decision that he thought he was better off with n4RRATE as the duelist instead of zekken, which the organization disagreed with, right? So you make that decision and you replace your IGL. When you get back to the makeup of the teams that had that run over the last 2 years, 2 of the 3 spots got replaced by Kaplan. That is what's happening. And like I said, we kind of blew things up in the middle of 2023, and within a year we won a major. So the point is not about stage 1. The point is about how do we get to as close as possible to the next time we can win a major. Like that is our goal. That's our fans' goal. We appreciate that as our fans' goal. And we agree that that is what our target always should be.
Yeah.
And if we don't see a path where we're not on a path to accomplish that, then we're not on the right path. Like I said, Cortez is my favorite player. This last month was a disaster for him. But like I said, when you get into what's happening in team chemistry, it starts to affect people. Like I said, Redux, you know, is like my adopted son. You and I streamed all of his matches for a year. And the question is just not what role he can play, but what role we need him to play, because he has the best attitude and will do whichever those roles we need him to do, and confident he will be great at that. By the way, and the one thing I forgot to talk about, and I will mention it one more time, I said to you the more dramatic thing than this chat always says. Anytime, day or night, regardless of the roster construction, if 10 shows up at my door and says he wants to play, he always has a spot on Sentinels for life. That is my stance on 10s.
We're deep in Ramadan, man.
For life.
Someone tip us to send the 10s.
So yeah, you all should send out love and appreciation and good wishes to say 10s, come back now, later, whenever you want. We're here for you. 10s for life, chat. That is my motto. 10s for life.
What do you think of the Sen drama?
Let's do what we do.
Need to be articulate here. I got some thoughts. Did you have talks with Sen after your contract? Yeah. I was in talks with Sen like all the way up until I chose MIBR. The talks included you being the duelist or no? With Sen, Cap wanted me to be on like the Omen second duelist like flex role. So it's probably gonna be Omen Yoru, like how MIBR has me. But like literally every team I talked to had me on either full-time controller or controller plus secondary duelist. So I was pretty much set for a role change no matter what. And I was down for it. It would have been the main duelist on Sen if that happened. I think n4RRATE. I did trials with n4RRATE on duelist and Redux on duelist. So why didn't the talks work? I don't know if I can say. But for what it's worth, I liked working with Cap. And I enjoyed like his system and how he did things. It was kind of an incentive to go back, because I was already like really comfy playing with him. I hope Cap lands on his feet. Same with the other Sen members, like Caillou and then whoever else might not be there. Trialing for 2 roles, John, Redux, and Court are not being let go. They let go of Big M. They can't let go of Big M. You think n4RRATE good on duelist? Yeah. I think he's good on anything, to be honest. You are not allowed to talk about why the talks didn't work. I mean, I just don't want to.
I don't want this.
But didn't have anything to do with like the org or Cap. I enjoyed working with Sen and Kaplan.
Fight.
It's a very interesting situation. I think this whole Sen situation was just not good for both of us. I think before the season even started, I think I was like in a horrible position to like actually perform for the team due to some things happening. And I think me being off the team is like just better for me. Guys, if you look at the tweets and everything, you really can't infer that I'm not off the team. From my understanding, I'm not gonna trial. Just organizationally, they don't want to trial me. But even if Ewok wanted to trial me, I would say no. Something happened in October, which made me not want to play for the team at all. But contractually, I was kind of forced to, because I had no real opportunities. Because of contractually, I was given no opportunity to seek opportunities. It was just a hard situation for me. Even like before they like officially like dropped me, I was gonna bench myself anyway. Like I was gonna bench myself after the 100 Thieves match, I think. Whichever the third match was, I think it was the 100 Thieves match. I was gonna bench myself. I just felt like I was not in a position to perform at all, and I didn't want to let down my team. So I think it's just like a good decision for both of us, like getting me off the team and then also like them getting a new player. I think it just helps them, helps me. Like overall, it's just like a good decision for both of us. I mean, it definitely was not like a narrate individual personal issue. It was definitely like a team issue. I mean, there's always issues with teams. Every team has issues. Even the best teams in the world. You don't think NRG had issues like when they won champs? Some teams just have bigger problems than others. And some teams have problems that are outside of game. And I would say like my problem was massively outside of game. And it kind of made it really hard to play. I think the only person I feel like really bad for is Caillou, because he's a really fucking good player and a good IGL. And I feel like he really did not deserve to be on this team. This type of decision just like actually fucked him. Because in my opinion, like he was doing a really good job, like a really good job. It just sucks for him, bro. Like actually, and I feel like really bad for him. He did nothing wrong, like literally nothing. I think Caillou definitely will get a spot in BCT for sure. He's really one of the best players I've ever played with. Good IGL, really good like fucking like teammate too, like really good, insane teammate I would say. Like, but my toxicity ruined him. It's all my fault, chat. Guys, I might have punched Caillou. Guys, I hate to break it. I might have punched him.